welcome back to Liz's Bookcase, a cookbook review channel. We are making pizza today from Bobby at Home's cookbook. I'm checking my temperature here. It needs to be between 110 and 115 degrees, and it was right on target. It was 115. So now I'm going to add my yeast, and I did read the back of my yeast package today, and I noticed that it tells you on there to make sure that you do check the temperature of that water, because if the water is actually too hot, it will kill your yeast. So I thought that was a good tip to point out. So I'm using my spoon here to break up the yeast in the hot water just to make sure that everything's just kind of blooming correctly in there. And it's set for about 5 minutes there, the yeast in the hot water. And now I'm going to add 2 cups of flour to this bowl. And I am using my knife to scrape it there. I'm not sure if you guys know, but you want to make sure not to pack in your flour when you're doing most baking recipes. You just want to scrape off the top there and make sure you've got it an even amount. And then I'm adding our salt here. So we've got 2 cups of flour and salt and our yeast and water. This is such an amazing recipe because it is only about 5 ingredients, and it is supposed to give you 4 14-inch personal pizzas. So I want to make a big note here that this is not Bobby Flay's recipe. This is in Bobby Flay's cookbook, Bobby at Home, but he received this recipe from Chris Bianco, who owns his own pizzeria. He actually owns 4 restaurants, but one of them is a pizzeria in Phoenix, Arizona, and is very famous apparently for his pizza and his pizza dough, and has recently come out with his own cookbook, which maybe one day I'll get to review that. But I am going to try to link that cookbook down below and whose recipe this really is, because Bobby says that he has his permission to use this recipe in his cookbook, and he's forever grateful. So I'll try to link that down below, and I did actually find the link that Chris Bianco posted this actual recipe. And so I will also link that down below. So if you want to use this recipe at home, you can make your own pizza dough. And it's exactly the one I'm using today. So now we are going to, the dough has come together and we're going to knead it out. So the way we do that is on a lightly floured surface, and we're going to push the dough away from you, pull it back and fold it, and then we do a turn. And you are supposed to do this for about 10 minutes. So this is our dough here. It's coming together. And we're looking for smooth, elastic, and soft, but still a little tacky. So that is, seems almost impossible to reach, but I think when you actually are feeling this dough, then you will understand what that means. So we're finishing up our 10 minutes here, and then we're going to turn this into a little ball and place it into a bowl that's lightly coated with olive oil, which once I kind of run my hand around this, I realized that I have put a little too much olive oil, I think, to be lightly coated. So I take a little bit out. This is such an exciting recipe for me to try because I have been searching for a good pizza dough recipe for a couple years now. I've had a few and they turn out pretty good, but it seems like they never seem to rise or be, some of them are a little bit more doughy than I was looking for. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. I'm covering my dough here, and then we are going to let it rest for 3 hours. This is my dough about halfway through. You can see that it's rising well, and it smells wonderful. Okay, so 3 hours has passed, and we are going to check and see how our dough is doing now. I'm going to flour my surface here. And the dough you should be able to put your finger in it and it not pop back out at you. That fingerprint should stay in there, and that looks great. So we're gonna pull it out. It feels like it's done what it was supposed to do. So I'm gonna cut this into 4 pieces for our 4 personal pizzas. And then I'm going to shape them into a ball and put them on a floured surface, a floured sheet pan. And then you are going to cover these with a little bit of flour and plastic wrap. So I'm flouring my surface there. And then I'm gonna tuck this. I noticed that I didn't really talk about this last time, but this is something that I picked up in some of the baking classes that I've taken, but you just kind of, when they say form a ball, you just kind of go around and tuck all the sides underneath the dough, and that's what I did before too. So those are going to rest for 45 minutes. Okay, our dough is ready to make pizzas now. It looks really good. It looks like it's going to be a really good pizza dough. So I am starting to stretch the dough out into, he said about 14 inches. So it should make 4 14-inch pizzas with this recipe. And I realized that this dough is very fragile. So I am mending it a bit. And then I'm using my corn flour here to keep my dough from sticking. I test it out, make sure it's not sticking to my paddle. And I'm mending it a bit more. Found a few more holes, but it mended really easily. And I'm using my homemade sauce. I've made this pizza sauce for a while now. I just needed one less recipe to do today. I will learn Bobby Flay's sauce another day, but I knew how to make this sauce pretty quickly, so I just stir it together. So this is our buffalo mozzarella cheese here that I'm putting on, and just for you to know, my pizza sauce, I just use pizza tomato paste and olive oil, salt, and some Italian seasoning and garlic powder, and it turns out pretty good. So there's my first pizza coming out. My oven is at 500 degrees to get my pizza stone nice and hot. And this is my second pizza going in here. We did 2 different pizzas. I did a cheese for the kids, and I did a pepperoni and mozzarella with crushed red peppers and honey for the adults, my husband and I. And I'm using kind of a 3-board system here to kind of get things in and out. You don't want to let the pizza dough get too soft on your paddle. So you want to try to keep it off of it and just use it to put it in and pull it out. I'm drizzling a little bit of honey on the pepperoni pizza. That was a recommendation by Bobby Flay, his recipe there. And I'm slicing that pizza up. My house is smelling delicious. Everybody's like, when is dinner gonna be ready? Okay, so this is the delicious pizza cooking on the pizza stone here. And I just want to thank everybody for watching today, and stay tuned for one quick announcement. Hi guys, I just want to say a quick hello, and just also a quick reminder, if you want to be entered in to win this cookbook, don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below, and also make sure that that subscription is set to public so that I can see that you're a subscriber, because I'm going to go through and look at all of my subscribers and then enter in those names, and I'm going to do a drawing next week for the winner of this cookbook. So tune in next Sunday. I'll see you then.